Carolyn Gardener, and I'm from Jamaica. 2 years ago, at least 2.5 years ago, my husband and I, Neil, moved from Jamaica to the US for him to study to become a doctor of chiropractic at Parker College of Chiropractic. When we decided to make that move, we knew that we were coming to the US and we weren't going to be able to have any source of income because of our visa status. We knew that we were taking that big step of faith, but we felt that God was leading us in this direction, so we decided to come. While we were here, we were able to live from savings and so on, but after a while, that kind of ran out, and I knew that I needed to get full-time employment. When I moved here in 2006, because I didn't have a full-time job, I decided I was going to volunteer and I was just going to serve in any area that I could. So I helped out at my church, and I also volunteered for Global Aid Network, which is the humanitarian arm of Campus Crusade for Christ. I had learned about that particular ministry when I was serving at Campus Crusade for Christ in Jamaica, and I served with them for 5 years. So when I moved to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I decided to look for a CCC ministry, a Campus Crusade ministry, where I could volunteer, and I found Global Aid Network. I was with them for maybe almost 2 years, working in their communications department, writing for them proposals, stories, webs, reports, that kind of thing. Anything really that they wanted me to do, I was doing. In January of 2008, I said to them that I need to look for some full-time employment so that I could secure income, so that we could live. And at that time, I was looking into the possibilities of teaching, becoming a teacher in Texas, and I mentioned that to them. They said, before going into that direction, let's see if we could employ you. The situation is, just to give you a brief background, the United States offers 65,000 visas per year to corporate America for non-US citizens to come and to work here. 65,000 within a 2-week period. Within the first day of that 2-week period, those 65 visas are gone. There's just no way, because there are so many applications, so many people want to come to the US to work. However, Global Aid Network, being a non-profit organization, that particular stipulation does not apply. So, of course, when I mentioned to them that I wanted some kind of full-time employment, I was going to seek to do that by teaching, and they offered to apply for me, they were able to do so. But the situation is, the Department of Homeland Security generally takes a very long time to look over papers and so on before they can approve any form of application, and understandably so. However, when they made the application, within 5 days we heard back from them, and they had approved my application. Now that is a miracle, because that generally takes maybe over a year. And it was rather timely because our money ran out in May, and I started working June 1st. And it was, the job is such a beautiful job. Right after being employed and getting the approval, they sent me back home to Jamaica so that I could sort out the visa. You have to leave the country to get the visa placed in your passport. That was important for me to do because they were sending me to Russia for 2 weeks on a mission trip, and I needed a visa in my passport. So just in June, they sent me back home. I was able to visit friends and family back home while I was sorting through my visa stuff. But as soon as I got back to the US, I was off to Russia on a 2-week mission trip. It's just tremendous the way in which God really worked it all out, and it was perfect timing. He is just never late for anything in our lives, and to be able to trust him is something that is rather awesome. Being at Global Aid Network is fulfilling. You're working and we're sending humanitarian aid across the world. we're sending in containers with clothing. We go in, we do water wells. We do other initiatives like sending in food and that kind of thing. And being in the communications department, gathering all the information from across the world to report to our constituencies, it's a unique position because you're able to see exactly and understand what's happening out in the world, to appreciate your position and the blessings that God has really bestowed on us. And as we're sitting here now and we're videotaping, we know of certain crises that's taking place across the world, one being the cholera outbreak that's in Zimbabwe and that's affecting more than 35,000 people. And our organization is working to send aid there, and we're hearing of news of people dying and of people getting help and that kind of thing. And it sometimes when we're able to send something, for example, like we did recently, we sent in some filters and it got in there in record time. We're just thinking, God, that's just a miracle, because that's saving lives. And when you can see when a filter can go into a village and they're coming all around from near and far to get clean water rather than drinking contaminated water from that one filter, and everyone is sharing that is a miracle for them. And it's such a blessing to be able to be a part of that in whatever small way that I am. And it's so tremendous sitting and just working through those situations and seeing us working in the trenches as people across the world face issues of war, diseases of all kinds, just different kind of atrocities that they have to encounter. But God is using us to be a miracle to them and a blessing to them, and for us to be that vehicle, it's really good.